Picture this, you are standing in the middle of a vast, endless desert. The sun is blazing like it's auditioning for the role of angry fireball in an apocalyptic movie, and all you can see for miles is sand dunes and maybe a bored camel. Most people would think this place could use some shade and a cold drink. But not Saudi Arabia. Oh no! They looked at the desert and said, you know what? Let's build a $1 trillion city here. That's how the line was born, a dazzlingly audacious project that's part of Saudi Arabia's Grand Vision 2030. The mastermind behind it all is Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who's determined to turn the country into a futuristic, sustainable, tech-savvy paradise. Think of him as a real-life Tony Stark, but instead of inventing Iron Man suits, he's designing the city of the future. But why a city shaped like a line? Good question. It's 170 kilometers long and 200 meters wide, like someone took a ruler to urban planning and said, we are doing this differently. The goal is to ditch sprawling, car-clogged cities in favor of something more streamlined, eco-friendly, and, let's be honest, Instagrammable. It's the kind of idea that makes you go, wow, that's brilliant, and then, wait, is this actually possible? Asterisk. The line is meant to be a showcase for what happens when you blend cutting-edge technology with an eco-conscious mindset. Think zero carbon emissions, renewable energy, and AI running the show. It's the ultimate flex, look, world. We are not just about oil anymore, we are about the future. Of course, there's a flip side to this desert dream. Building a city this ambitious is like saying, I'm going to climb Mount Everest wearing flip-flops. It's bold, but also a little crazy. Can it work? Will it transform the region, or will it just be a really expensive mirage? And let's not forget the symbolism. Saudi Arabia is planting its flag in the global sandbox, declaring itself a major player in innovation. It's a message to the world, we are not just rewriting the rulebook, we are throwing it out and inventing a holographic one instead. So, is the line a masterpiece of human ingenuity or a wildly expensive pipe dream? At this point, it's anyone's guess. But one thing's for sure, no one's ever accused Saudi Arabia of thinking small. Let's talk about the line's design because it's, well, let's just say it's not your average city layout. Most cities are sprawling, chaotic, and kind of messy, like a toddler was given crayons and a map. But the line? Oh no, the line is different. It's 170 kilometers long, 200 meters wide, and shoots straight across the desert like a high-tech laser beam. Imagine a giant architect woke up one day, grabbed a ruler, and said, yeah, this will do. So, what makes this long, thin city so special? First, it's vertical. Unlike traditional cities that grow outwards, the line grows upwards. It's essentially a skyscraper that's been stretched like taffy across the desert. Picture a futuristic corridor where everything is stacked: homes, offices, parks, schools, and even farms. It's like the world's tallest sandwich, and you are living somewhere between the lettuce and tomato. But wait, there's more. The line is wrapped in mirrored walls. Yes, you read that right. The entire city will reflect the surrounding desert, making it look like a shimmering mirage. Is it stunning? Absolutely. Is it practical? Well, let's just say the architects clearly weren't thinking about how many times a day birds might accidentally crash into it. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, or rather, the straight line in the sand. Why this shape? According to the designers, it's the ultimate in efficiency. No cars, no sprawl, no wasted space. Instead, everything is designed to be within a 5-minute walk. Need groceries? They're just downstairs. Want to hit the gym? It's in the same vertical column. No traffic jams, no road rage, no circling the block for parking. It's basically every city dweller's dream, assuming you don't mind your entire life happening in one long corridor. Transportation? Oh, it's next level. The line will have a high-speed rail running its entire length, whisking you from one end to the other in just 20 minutes. Imagine living 170 kilometers away from your office but arriving faster than it takes some of us to find our car keys. It's futuristic, it's efficient, and it's honestly kind of mind-blowing. But let's not ignore the drawbacks. A city shaped like a single line doesn't leave much room for detours. Forget wandering around or taking the scenic route. Everything is designed to keep you moving in one direction, like a very polite conveyor belt. And what happens if you want to visit a friend on the other end? Sure, the high-speed train is fast, but what if it's late? Or, heaven forbid, what if there's a technical glitch? You'd be stranded in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by sand, mirrors, and regret. Still, you've got to admire the ambition. The line is a bold reimagining of what a city can be. It's sleek, futuristic, and a little bit intimidating, like a city designed by robots who have been binge-watching Tron. Whether it becomes a model for future urban planning or just a really expensive conversation starter, one thing's certain, the line will never be called boring. Welcome to the line, where life is so futuristic it feels like you've stepped into a sci-fi movie, minus the ominous soundtrack, hopefully. Forget sprawling suburbs or noisy city centers. In the line, everything you need is neatly stacked in vertical layers, like the world's most high-tech lasagna. And the best part? It's all within a 5-minute walk. That's right, your lazy Sunday stroll just became a way of life. Let's start with housing. Imagine waking up in your sleek, sunlit apartment, where every surface doubles as a smart screen. Want to check the weather? Your window shows you a real-time desert forecast. Need a coffee? Your AI-controlled kitchen already brewed it. The design is minimalist, futuristic, and just a little intimidating, like IKEA met NASA and they decided to collaborate on a space station. Now let's talk about your commute. Oh, wait, there isn't one. In the line, everything is designed to be within walking distance, from your office to your favorite sushi spot. No cars, no traffic, no honking horns. Instead, you'll glide through a network of AI-powered pods and high-speed rails, zipping from point A to point B faster than you can say, "I'm late." It's like someone took the best parts of city living and stripped away all the annoyances. Shopping? Forget dragging bags through crowded malls. In the line, drones deliver your groceries, clothes, and even that random impulse buy you made at 2 a.m. It's convenient, sure, but it does beg the question, how do you return something to a drone? Do you hand it back in midair? Is there a "sorry, this doesn't fit" button? The logistics are still a mystery, but it sounds fun in theory. Then there's recreation. Parks are vertical, so you can stroll through lush greenery on one floor and hit the swimming pool on the next. There's even talk of floating gyms and holographic theaters, because why settle for reality when you can upgrade it? You'll never be bored, but you might wonder if you are living in a city or a very fancy theme park. Of course, life in the line comes with some quirks. Privacy is, well, let's just say it's more of a suggestion than a guarantee. When every building is interconnected and your smart fridge knows more about your eating habits than you do, you can't exactly fly under the radar. It's like living in a high-tech fishbowl, where the AI overlords are always watching, but hey, at least they're polite about it. And then there's the fact that the line is designed to keep you inside. Like, really inside. There's no sprawl, no suburbs, and definitely no weekend road trips. Everything you could possibly need is packed into this vertical wonderland. Sounds great, right? Until you realize you've gone months without seeing the horizon or feeling sand under your feet. Cabin fever, meet your futuristic cousin, city strip syndrome. But don't let the quirks scare you off. Life in the line is meant to be efficient, sustainable, and ridiculously convenient. It's a utopia for anyone who's ever dreamed of skipping traffic, avoiding long grocery lines, and living in a world where everything just works. Sure, It's a little dystopian if you think too hard about it, but isn't that true of most modern conveniences? So, whether the line becomes a revolutionary way to live or just a very fancy experiment, one thing's for sure, you'll never run out of stories to tell about life inside those glass walls. Just don't forget to wave to the drones. Technology, the backbone of the line and the stuff of both dreams and nightmares. In this futuristic paradise, AI runs everything. Imagine Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant joined forces, became super intelligent, and decided to manage a city. From regulating your electricity use to reminding you about that online meeting, AI is here to make your life easier, or at least, more efficient. But let's be honest, doesn't all that monitoring sound a little creepy? Sure, AI-powered transportation is cool, and a city that knows when to adjust the temperature is convenient. But what about the fact that everything is tracked? Your fridge knows how much cheese you eat, your shower tracks your water usage, and your smartwatch probably knows you better than your best friend. It's like having a very nosy but well-meaning roommate who never moves out. And what about security? AI will ensure the city is safe, but at what cost? Cameras everywhere, smart sensors in every corner, and algorithms predicting your every move. Sounds great if you are a fan of efficiency. Not so great if you value privacy. Will the line be a tech wonderland where everything works like magic, or an Orwellian dystopia where you can't sneeze without the system saying, "Bless you," and recommending allergy meds? The verdict? It's a gamble. Either this is the city of the future where life is as smooth as a drone-delivered lad, or it's the setting for the next season of Black Mirror. Place your bets. Of all the places in the world to build a futuristic city, why a desert? Because Saudi Arabia, in its Vision 2030, decided to go big. And by big, I mean let's define it big. The desert might seem like an odd choice, but it's symbolic, a harsh, barren landscape transformed into a beacon of human ingenuity. It's like saying, look, we don't just adapt to the environment, we conquer it. But let's talk logistics. Building in the middle of nowhere means battling scorching heat, limited water, and endless sandstorms. Who thought that was a good idea? It's like deciding to host the Winter Olympics on a tropical island. Sure, it's bold, but it also raises a lot of eyebrows. Why now? Because Saudi Arabia wants to diversify its economy and show the world it's more than just oil. The line is their way of shouting, we've got innovation, from the rooftops, or in this case, the desert sands. But will it work, or will it be remembered as a trillion-dollar attempt to prove a point? Time will tell. Let's talk money. Building the line is a $1 trillion endeavor, making it one of the most expensive projects in history. To put that in perspective, that's enough cash to buy 4.4 billion new iPhones, or bail out your friend's startup idea 50 million times. But where's all this money coming from? Investors, government funds, and, let's be real, probably some very persuasive PowerPoint presentations. On the bright side, the line promises economic growth, jobs, and opportunities. But let's not ignore the elephant in the room, exclusivity. Who gets to live in this shiny utopia? Will it be affordable for the average person, or is it reserved for the ultra-rich? Because if it's the latter, the line risks becoming less of a city and more of a gated community with very expensive taste. Then there's the social aspect. Packing everyone into a vertical city is efficient, but what happens to human connection? Will neighbors bond over shared AI malfunctions, or will they just send passive-aggressive messages through the city's app? Progress always has a price, and the line is no exception. The line markets itself as the poster child for sustainability. No cars, zero carbon emissions, and renewable energy sources? Sounds like a green dream. But wait, building a 170-kilometer city out of steel, glass, and tech is hardly eco-friendly. The amount of resources required could probably build 5 less ambitious cities. Sure, once it's up and running, the line might be carbon neutral. But getting there is a different story. It's like throwing a zero-waste party but using a private jet to fly in the decorations. The intention is good, but the execution? Let's just say it's complicated. So, is the line really the environmental savior it claims to be, or is it just a very expensive way to look green? It's a fine line, pun absolutely intended. The world's reaction to the line is a mix of awe and skepticism. On one hand, urban planners and tech enthusiasts are drooling over the innovation. On the other hand, critics are wondering, is this real life, or is Saudi Arabia just trolling us with a $1 trillion experiment? Every major news outlet has covered the line. Social media is buzzing with hot takes, memes, and wild conspiracy theories. Some think it's the future of urban living. Others think it's a giant vanity project that will crumble faster than your New Year's resolutions. Either way, the line has achieved one thing for sure. Everyone's talking about it. Let's get real for a second. Cities aren't just about buildings and tech, they're about people. So how does the line preserve culture and identity in its high-tech bubble? Picture ancient Bedouin traditions meeting AI-driven everything. It's a weird mashup, but hey, who says you can't celebrate heritage while living in a city that looks like it was designed by aliens? The real challenge is building a sense of community. Can you truly bond with your neighbors when you are all plugged into the same AI ecosystem? Or will you just wave at each other through smart glass walls? Culture thrives on spontaneity and chaos, two things the line's meticulously planned structure doesn't exactly encourage. Fast forward a few decades. Is the line a thriving, futuristic utopia that's inspired cities worldwide? Or is it a $1 trillion ghost town, abandoned because the vision didn't match reality? If it works, the line could revolutionize urban planning, proving that sustainable, high-tech cities are possible. If it fails, it'll be a cautionary tale of what happens when ambition outpaces practicality. Either way, the line will leave its mark, whether as a beacon of innovation or the world's most expensive mirage. As they say, go big or go home. And in the case of the line, Saudi Arabia is going very big.